In Yellowstone, you're going to encounter many different types of animals. And one of the ones I found the most interesting were the buffalo. The thing that I didn't realize about the buffalo was that they are good swimmers. Growing up, watching old westerns and all that good stuff, I did not realize that buffalo could swim. I thought they just lumbered across the prairie and ran away from Indians and cowboys and all that. But to see these guys swimming out in Yellowstone Park was quite impressive to me. Now, you can see in the background people fishing, anglers. He doesn't care. He's going right across that water to get to the other side. And eventually he is going to get there. And when he gets to the other side, there will be some loss of him in the vegetation. And here we see just a little bit of him moving along, having crossed the river. And there he is. And he has got a friend not too far away. Yep, there we are. Another buffalo. Well, we should move on to something more scenic. I don't know. This is pretty scenic looking to me. I just thought I'd film and look at these buffalo a lot longer. I mean, you can't beat anything that's quite this beautiful. Just the serene river flowing past and these great behemoths in the grass. It's got its own kind of special beauty. Yeah, it was hard to stop filming these guys. Really was. At many places in the park, you're going to encounter these geyser formations where things are not going to smell very good. We're talking about the biggest stink bomb, rotten egg, sulfurous odor that you would come across anywhere. All that steam you see drifting up, that is full of the biochemical smells that actually some people find pretty nauseous. I know that my wife had to get away from this area because it really did make her sick. I still found it quite interesting. That looked to me like a bomb crater, but that's just how the formation built itself up, spewing out all the stuff that it was spewing out. And look at that cauldron. Out across this body of water here, in the distance, is a herd of buffalo. And you find them just like that all around the park. Of course, they're protected wildlife, and they do die from natural events, death, some illnesses, sometimes accidents. They wander out into areas that are not good for them. They drown, they get burned. Just different things happen to them, like can happen to any type of animal in the wild. And here we have some water flowing, and I do not know what the name of this river and these falls are, but it's a massive waterway, a really large drop. And when I zoom in, eventually you're going to see an overlook where people are watching this water cascading by. We did not go to that overlook, but we did drive over that bridge. I do remember that. But you have scenic things in areas like this to stop and walk out to and look at all around Yellowstone. It is truly a diverse place with a huge loop trail that goes to the northern part of the park and then across and then down back to the southern part. And south of Yellowstone is the Grand Tetons part. But it's just majestic. There's just a lot of real beauty in this park. If I remember correctly, the big loop that goes up and across and down and then across, I believe in the middle they have got a route that you can cut across if you don't want to drive the whole park. Let's have a listen. Now here we are at the upper falls of the Yellowstone River. I'm going to turn the volume down if people start chatting it up too much. But you may not be able to see it in this older video, but there's a lot of ochre and yellows and orange colors. And sometimes I wonder if Yellowstone wasn't named for the colors here that we're seeing at the upper falls of the Yellowstone River. This is a very popular overlook here where people like to get their picture taken with the falls in the background. One thing you don't realize when you're looking at water like this, it did not find a canyon and decide to flow down it. It pretty well carved out this canyon over thousands and thousands and thousands of years, moving dirt and soil along. And it's basically called erosion. But that is where we get the beauty that we get, the geological structures that we get in places all around the world. And Yellowstone is definitely one of them, showing you the processes of erosion over time. Yeah, I just filmed so many things, and what you're seeing now is a snippet of the hours of video I took while we were at this park. And I'm doing my best to edit in and leave in those things I thought the most beautiful and most interesting parts of the park. Let's see if we can hear the water again. No, not really. Mainly people talking. So I'm going to be quiet and let this flow like it is. You encounter all sorts of wildlife in this park. I believe these are elk, and the park officials had nicknamed them the old boys. And they're nonplussed at all about you walking right up and videotaping them. They're just very relaxed, and they know innately that people are not going to hurt them. So they're totally at ease. Just a wonderful thing to see them. And here's just another vista of the park, looking out across the distance. All this natural beauty. So relaxing, so beautiful to experience. You got to go there if you haven't. And what do we have here? Moose. This is a female moose, a cow with her baby. And we observed them from the other side of a pretty wide river. She was cognizant of us, but not really too worried. I was glad we got to see him. Young wildlife are always so darn cute. The other place that I saw moose was when I went to Maine, and I was in the western part of Maine. And again, it was a female moose with her baby, but we were a lot closer that time. They were standing right by the roadside. But I tell you what, you don't want to go too close toward any wild animals young, because they are very, very defensive of them. Here we are at the Old Faithful Inn in Yellowstone, of course in Wyoming. The Old Faithful Inn is the most requested lodging facility in the park. It was designed by Robert Reamer and built in 1903 to 1904 using local logs and stone. The inn is considered the largest log structure in the world. And the Old Faithful, of course, is not too far away from the inn, which is why I'm taking a video of Old Faithful. We saw it erupting up close and personal in part one, the video before this, and there'll be a link to that. But let's go inside the inn and see what we can see. The word that comes to mind is grandiose. Huge. There are so many floors, and when you look up, you keep looking up, and you keep looking up to the very tippy top. There is this huge fireplace and huge stone chimney inside. You do get a crick in your neck when you are looking up to the very apex of the cathedral type roof. Check it out. It was very noisy in there, but it sure would have been interesting to be in there all by yourself and shout to see what the echoes were like. All the way up to the top. The Old Faithful Inn. I went up a couple floors and was filming looking down. Pretty amazing. We did eat there, and dinner was quite good. Dinner here in the South, lunch called elsewhere. And there's a view of Old Faithful. Beautiful clouds, beautiful cumulus clouds that day. And I don't remember the temperature, but if I remember correctly, it was probably in the mid to upper 70s. I don't remember it being a really hot day. And a lot of that, even though it was August, has to do with elevation. So there she goes. Old Faithful erupts on a very predictable cycle and lasts for a very predictable time. Ergo, she's faithful. And she's old. So if you do go to Yellowstone, make sure you go to Old Faithful. And they have guidelines for you to know when to hang out and be ready for the eruption. See if it sounds like anything. I can hear wind and people talking, but I can't hear the geyser. So I'm going to turn her back down. I'd like to have audio for these films, but there's so much chit-chat and people going, wow, wow, and kids yelling and screaming, and I didn't have a wind protection for my microphone on my old Sony stereo Handycam video recorder, so you get a slight breeze to a medium wind, and you know the sound. It's not very pleasant. So we're going to be satisfied with visuals here. And here's one more little pool, a little geyser here. These things are all over the park. All kind of different shapes and sizes and colors and activity. I think there's more geysers concentrated in Yellowstone than like anywhere else in the world. It is a true hotbed of activity, no pun intended. And here's another geyser. we were just hoping against hope that this one would erupt instead of just steaming and hissing. So I filmed for a while and waited and hoped. Will it erupt? Will she blow her top? Let's see. Gotta be patient. As they say, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. I know you're tired of waiting. So am I. But then lo and behold, there she goes. Not particularly big and tall like Old Faithful, but plenty powerful. And I would not want to get close to it and get any spray on me. Neither would you, because it's incredibly hot. So, coming near the end of part 2, be sure you look on my channel for parts 1, 3, and 4.